Hello, good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, we are discussing the topics from today onwards. The topics from the module 2. That is, initially we start with the stacks and then we go for queues. Okay. And on stacks, you have I think three lab programs are there on stacks. Okay. And yesterday we went through the introduction to data structures. You understood the broad classification of the data structures. So primitive data structure, non-primitive data structure, and you understood what comes under primitive data structure, all the basic data types which are supported in any of the programming languages or the primitive data structures like int, float, character, double, all these things. And then in non-primitive data structures, again it was divided into two types. So linear data structure and non-linear data structure. Now under linear data structure, okay, we understood the arrays, okay, stack, queues, all these things. And non-linear data structure, we have trees and graphs. So just as the broad classification what we understood yesterday. Okay. So now we'll continue our discussions with the first linear data structure, stack. So stack, no doubt it is a linear data structure. A linear list and linear arrays allow one to insert and delete the elements at any place in the list, at the beginning, at the end, or in the middle. That means whenever I say a linear list or a linear array, so you can go for inserting anywhere. So I say I want to place a new element, so you can go for placing the new element either at the beginning or at the end of the list or even in the middle of the list. So that insertion can be done anywhere. But there are certain situations, Kirana, where we want to restrict the insertion and deletions to some places. Okay. To the and we want to restrict it to happen only insertion and deletion to happen only at the beginning, or sometimes we need to restrict it to happen at the end, or sometimes we may have to restrict it to happen at only the middle. Okay. So but generally, so when I say a linear list or a linear array, so you can go for inserting at the beginning, at the end, at the middle. So in case if you want to restrict, you can always restrict. Okay. And we have two such examples here. So stacks and queues are the best example for the linear lists, which puts a restrictions on the insertion. Okay. So now I told you can insert at the beginning, end, or middle, but when I take these two data structure, stacks and queues, so there is a restriction. Now stack will allow you to insert and remove only from the one end. Okay. So that is called as the top end of the stack. Okay. That means, so when you want to add a new element, you will be doing at the top of the stack. So I want to delete an element from the stack, again you are doing it from the top of the stack. So you cannot do anything from the bottom of the stack, correct? So that is the stack. Okay. So you will be doing it at the one end of the stack, that is insertion also one end and deletion also from the same end. And queues is little different. Okay. Now again nothing you can do at the middle here. Okay. So you will be inserting new element to the rear end of the queue and deletion will be done from the front end of the queue. You can just imagine the normal queues, the queues which will be standing making in the banks, or the queues which will be making in the cash counter of the college, to pay the college fee, something like this. The same queue you can imagine. So whenever a new student wants to join the queue, you won't be joining at the front of the queue. You'll be joining at the rear end of the queue, correct? And the people will be leaving the queue from the front end. So remember, the person who is standing in front of the counter, he'll finish his job and he'll leave the queue. Okay, so that is. So when I say stack, insertion and deletion happens from the same end, and that end here we call it as the top end. Okay. And the best example what I can give for this is the stack of files, say, or stack of the books. So you might have your books, you'll be piling your books one above the other, correct? Say I want to add a new book on the existing pile. What is that I'll do? I'll take a new book and I'll add it on top of the book which is already there on the top. Now if I want to take out the book, again I'll be removing from the top. Okay, that is what the stack. And queue, any normal queues which the day-to-day queues which we follow, it's the same thing. You can take it as an example. Now when I say stack, adding an element and deleting the element happens from the same end. That is generally called as the top end. And when I say queue, so adding a new element to the queue happens at the rear end, and deleting the element from the queue happens from the front end. Okay, so these are the two examples, but generally speaking, when I say a linear list or a linear array, so insertion can be done at the beginning, at the end, or even in the middle also. There are other data structures, say something like we have the linked list. When we go to the linked list, there we'll be doing all these things. We insert sometimes at the beginning, sometimes we insert at the end, and sometimes we go for inserting at the middle also. But these are the two data structures which has the restrictions, their own restrictions. Now the restrictions for the stack is you can only insert and remove from one end, and the restrictions with the queue is that, so queue has two ends. Your element is added to the tail end of the queue, and the elements are removed from the front end of the queue. OP, people understood till here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And there is other name also, since there is a restriction, unique restriction on the stacks, that is, elements can be added and removed from the same end. So these stacks are also called as LIFO data structures. LIFO nothing but last in first out. Okay, so since I'm saying elements are inserted and removed from the same end, the element which is added last to the stack will be the one to be removed first. Okay, so that is the reason it's called as I have the graphical view of this also. I'll show you. This is a LIFO data structure, last in first out. The element which gets added last to the stack is the one to be removed first from the stack. Okay, next, queues is a FIFO data structure. So first in, first out. So since the elements are added to the rear end, correct? No, so the element which is at the front end of the queue will be the one to be removed first. Okay, so the person who is standing first in the queue will be the one to get out of the queue first, compared to the person who is standing at the rear end of the queue. Okay, hence this is called as first in first out data structure, whereas stack is called as a LIFO data structure, last in first out data structure, and this is first in first out data structure. OP, people understood with this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, so as already mentioned, stack, no doubt it is a linear list in which the addition and deletion of element are restricted to one end, called the top. Okay, so no doubt stack is also a linear list, but so why it is called as stack? Because it restricts the addition and deletion of elements to one end, and that end is called as the top end of the stack. Okay, so and we'll be using this word top more frequently in the stacks, and this is very important. Top is very important. Okay, now every time you before adding a new element onto the stack, onto the top of the stack, what you have to do is you got to increment the top, and then you should go for adding the new element. And every time you're deleting an element from the stack, correct, no? Before deleting, what is that you got to do? You got to decrement the top by 1. So all these are the operations which we'll be doing. Okay, I hope you understood now. So stack is also a linear list in which the addition and deletion of elements are restricted to one end called the top end. Okay, and queues again we'll be discussing later because I've already told you. Okay, so we'll be discussing in detail the queues later after we complete the stacks. Okay, and all its related lab programs. Okay, a linear list is a list in which each element has a unique successor. Okay, every element, so it's called linear because every element has a unique successor to it. Okay, and a linear list may be restricted list or a general list. So now the stack is a restricted list. Okay, because you can perform addition and deletion only at one end called as top. And queue is also a restricted list. Why queue is also a restricted list? Because addition can be done at the rear end of the queue, and deletions can be done from the front end of the queue. And there are other general lists also. So where there is no restrictions on addition and deletion. Additions can be done if it can be done at the middle, or it can be done at the beginning, or it can be done at the end. So we call them a general list, and we'll be discussing that after the queues. Okay, after discussing these two restricted list, we go for discussing the general list where the insertion deletion can be done either at the beginning or from the middle or from the end of the list. Okay, and stack is also called as I already told you, LIFO data structure, last in first out data structure. And other name is also there, one more name is also there, it's also called as push down list. Okay, why push down list or push pop list also you can call it as, because push is the term that is referred to the process of adding an element to the stack, and pop is the term that is referred to the process of removing an element from the top of the stack. So normally you can call it as LIFO data structure, or else you can also call it as push down list or push pop list also. Hope people understood till here. Any doubts here till here?
No, sir.
Yeah. Now stack operations. What are the operations that you perform on the stack? So as already told, so stack is also called as a push pop list, or else push down list. Now push is one operation that we perform on the stack. Now what is a push? Used to insert an element onto the stack. So I want to insert a new element on top of the stack. I perform the push operation. Okay. Now pop is used to delete an element from the stack. Similarly, I want to remove an element from the top of the stack. Then I go for using, I perform the pop operation. Okay, I hope you understood what is push operation and what is pop operation. Push is nothing but adding an element to the stack, and pop is nothing but delete an element from the stack. And every time you want to perform a push operation to the stack, what is that you'll be doing? What is that you're going to do with the stack? What is that you're going to do with the top? So I want to perform the push operation. What you'll do for the top? Students, I need your response. What will be done to the top? Guys, are you people there? Able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, what will happen to the top when you are performing the push operation? Top gets incremented. Okay. Whenever I want to add a new element to the top of the stack, to the stack, so I'll increment the top, correct, no, and then I'll go for adding the element. So that means, so top will be pointing to the first element on the stack always. Okay. Similarly, when I want to remove an element from the stack, I'll be decrementing the top. Okay, I'll be decrementing the top. So remember now, whenever it is a push operation, top gets incremented. Whenever it is a pop operation, the top gets decremented. Understood? Okay. Next, so stack top used to copy an item at the top of the stack but does not delete it. I'll tell you. See, the pop operation we call pop is what? Used to delete an element from the stack. So, but we never delete the element from the stack. What we do is we only decrement the top value by 1, but element will be still there on the stack. Okay. So, we add a new element to the stack, but when I say delete, so we are not going to actually delete the element from the stack. Instead, we just decrease the top by 1. Okay. So, but the element will not be deleted from the stack. It will be there as it is. That you'll understand when we go to the next slide. OP people understood till here. You understood what is push and what is pop, correct? No? And what happens when you push an element onto the stack, and what happens when you pop an element from the stack. Is that clear? Yes? So I need your response, confidence response. And if you have any doubts also, please ask me. Don't hesitate. Okay. Shall I proceed to the next?
Yes, sir.
Yeah? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so when you are, these are the operations which we perform, push and pop operation. Along with this, you can also write display. Any point of time, if I want to display what are the elements that are present inside the stack, I can go for displaying the elements of the stack also. Okay. Now, underflow and overflow. Okay. Now, underflow is a condition that occurs if we try to pop an item from an empty stack. Say stack is empty. So, for you to pop some element from the stack, element should be there. Yes or no? So, if stack is empty, correct, no? So, then we call it as what? And the stack is right now empty. There are no elements present inside the stack, and I am still trying to perform the pop operation. Okay, remove an item from the stack. Then that situation we call it as what? Underflow. So that means before popping any element from the stack, you got to check whether stack is underflow or not, stack is empty or not. Okay, how do you check whether the stack is empty? Okay, so, and that can be checked again by using the top. So top will be I'll take the pen. So top initially, so normally what we do, we initialize this top variable to -1. Okay, -1. Let me write here, say this is the stack. So stack we write like this. Okay, something like this. This is 0. Okay, let me not write here. Okay, so yeah, this is 0, this is 1, 2, 3, and this is 4. Okay, initially top will be initialized to -1 like this. Okay, now I want to add a new element. I want to push a new element onto the stack. Say I want to push A. Okay, I call push operation. So before pushing this A here, this is the place where A comes. So before pushing this, what is that I have to do? I have to make top to point to this particular index. Now how do I make top to point to this? Now I have to increment top plus. So if I increment top plus, how much it will become? -1, correct? No? 0 it will become. So top is pointing to this. Top is pointing to this. Okay, and I place A here. So next I want to insert B, push B. What I'll do? I'll increment top plus. Where top will be pointing? Top was pointing here earlier. Now it points to the next here. So the current value of the top was 0. Now I'm incrementing it. So by 1, it becomes 1. The current value of the top is right now how much? 1. So now I'll push B here. Hope you are following?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now see, always any point of time, top will be pointing to the topmost element. Okay. Now I want to push one more element. What is that I have to do? Top plus again. I have to increment first the top. I have to make top to point to the what? empty box inside this stack. So top is point and no longer pointing to this now, and I push C. Getting? Next. Again top plus plus. So it comes here. Top is pointing to this, and I have D pushed here. And then one more. Top is pointing to this. Again I increment the top is pointing to this. Now E is pushed. And this is my stack size. So I have created a stack for holding how many elements? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And no space here. Now what will happen? Say I want to push one more. So I try to increment the top. So top is pointing to this, and there is no space. There is no space. See, overflow is a condition occurs if we try to push an item to the stack which is already full. This stack is already full right now, and there is no space to accommodate new item. So now we say, and if I try to insert F, it should tell me what stack is overflow. And similarly, I go for popping the items. Okay, I'll pop the item. So what I'll do, top is not pointing to this, top is pointing to this right now. Okay, first element. Now what is the meaning of popping? So decreasing the top by 1. Okay, so top is not pointing to this now, so top is pointing to this, and this E is still there. E is still present inside the memory. Only thing is what? We have decreased the top. And if I go for displaying the elements of the stack now, from where it will be displayed? It will be displayed. See? So I start displaying from the index 0, and I'll go till the top, and the top is pointing to T now. And there is no question of E getting displayed. OP people understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
See, when I display the stack, I'll be displaying from the index 0 always to top. Always till top. Now what is the item that is present at index 0? A gets printed. What is the item that is present at 1? B gets printed. What is the item that is present at 2? C gets printed. And what is the item that is present at 3? T gets displayed. And where is the top pointing? Top is pointing to 3 right now, this row. And will you get this E printed? No, will not get it, because I run the for loop only from 0 to top. OP people understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, like this. And again, say I want to pop this D also. What I'll be doing? Simply decrease the top minus minus. So top was pointing here, and I'll decrease it by one more time, and top is pointing to this. Now after decreasing the top by one more, and if I go for displaying the contents of my stack, so what it displays? A, B and C, and even D will also not display it. OP people understood? So but we have not removed it from the memory. This D is still there in the memory, and E is also still there in the memory. OP people are following?
Yes, sir.
Next again, say I want to pop C also. Decrease top by one more. Top is pointing to this. And next if you display, it will display only A and B, because top is pointing to 1, this row, A and B, these are the only two items that will be displayed. Again pop B also, top is pointing to this. So top is pointing to this. And now if I call display, it should print me only A. Okay. Now again, say I want to pop this A also. Decrement top. Top is, what is the value of top right now? 0. Top is 0. If I decrement it by one more, how much it will become? Again it will become what? Minus 1. So top will become minus 1. Now if top is minus 1, what does it mean? It is underflow. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is how it works. And these elements, A, B, C, D, E, they are still there in the memory, but you cannot access them. Why you cannot access them? Because top is no longer pointing to them. Top is pointing to what? Minus. Top is right now minus 1. Now if I want to access this, top should become how much? 0. Okay. Now if I increment top again, and if I access, I can get this. Okay. Now what I'll do, when the moment top becomes minus 1, so I'll assume I have popped everything from this stack. Everything is popped, and this popped from the stack, and the stack is empty. Now if I want to insert, say I want to insert F. I want to push F onto the stack. So and top value is -1. What is that? Will do? Will increment top. So top will become how much? 0. That means top is pointing to this. I'm writing this side right now because this is all I have scratched it. So top is pointing to this, and now I put F here. This F will override this A. Following? Now
Yes.
after this, if I go for displaying the content of the stack, what it will display? Will it display F, B, C, D, E, or only F?
Only F.
Only F. Why only F? Because top is pointing to this. Yes or no? Okay, like this. Now let me go to the next slide. Okay, now this is the graphical representation. You will clearly understand. See, top I have initialized it to -1. So top I have shown here. Top is pointing. This is my stack of size 1, 2, 3, 4. I can store 4 elements in my stack, and this is the top right now initialized to -1. Let me say -1. So top is -1. So just observe now. So let me write here. This is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, observe now. So top is incremented. I wanted to push A. Top is incremented and it is 0. Now what is top now? Further incremented and it is 1. For top is incremented, it is 2, and I have pushed C. Top is incremented and I have pushed D. My stack is what? Full. I wanted to push E also. Okay. So my stack is full now. What happens? So stack full. So I cannot go for inserting E to the top of the stack. Next. So stack overflow. OP people understood? Stack full or stack
Yes, sir.
overflow, anything you can call it. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So top was here initially. It was pointing to -1. Now before inserting A, I incremented top by 1, and top becomes 0. Then I pushed A, and then top become 1. I pushed B, and then incremented top. It became 2, and then pushed D. Then incremented top again. It became 3, and I inserted D. And after that, I tried inserting E, and it told me what? Stack is full. It was not possible for you to insert. Okay. See, all insertion, we inserted A, B, C, D, E. What end we did? Top end, only one end. Okay. So can I insert, say, one more element I want to insert here? Is it possible? No, not possible. It can be inserted in, stack can grow always in only one direction. Okay. So among A, B, C, D, which is the one that is first inserted? A. And this is the one that will be getting deleted from the stack at the end, last. And which is the one that is inserted last? D. This is the one which got inserted into the stack last. And if I am removing, this one will be the first to be removed. Okay. Next. So similarly, so this is our status now. See, so this is 3. This is 2, this is 1, and this is 0. Indexes I have written. Now I am performing the pop operation now. Okay. What will happen? So when I say pop, what is the element that will be removed first? The element to which the top is pointing. Right now the top is pointing to D. Correct, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
D
sir.
will be removed. Okay. So don't confuse. Now if I press in the graphical representation, what I say, so I just decrement this top here, and the D I'll just take out. Okay. So don't be in an impression that, so item D will be deleted from the memory location. It won't be deleted from the memory location. It will be still there in the memory location. Only thing is we decrement the top and we restrict our access to the structure only to this point till here. And this, even though it's there in the memory, you cannot access it because top is not pointing to that. Okay. Now observe now. So popped D. Now what I am doing? Top is decremented. Popped C and top is decremented. Popped B and top is decremented. So this is the last one. So popped A also, and now if I try to pop, so now the top is again taken its original value, that is -1. Okay. So top is -1. So let me write this side. So top is equal to -1. Okay. So now if I try to pop again, so it will tell me stack empty, or you can say stack underflow. Okay. Stack empty condition is nothing but the stack underflow condition. Next. So I think you understood how the stack works. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You understood the whole concept of stacks now. So next is, now how do we represent a stack? Correct? So how to represent a stack? So stack can be represented in many ways. Okay. You can represent stack using arrays. You can represent stacks using linked list. Okay. Now first what we'll understand is how to represent a stack using array. Okay. So because let me go back to the previous slide. Yeah, this one. So these are I want to store all these things. What I need. So they are all right now A, B, C, D, E. I have taken characters. They are now. If I want to store all these things, these are the homogeneous elements. So they are the characters. Yes or no? I need a character array. And similarly, so I say I want to, instead of A, B, C, D, E, I want to store 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in my stack. Then I have to declare it as what? Integer array. Okay. Basically, the stacks can be represented. I'll just go to the next slide. Yeah. Stacks. Excuse me for a while. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Sending 4 to 5 class.
Yes, sir.
11:30 ಆಗುತ್ತಾ?
11. Okay.
11:30.
ಓ ನನಗೆ ಲ್ಯಾಬ್ ಇದೆ ಸರ್.
11:30 ಹೌದಾ? ನೀವು
11:30 to 1:30.
ಅದು HOD's meeting ಇದೆ ಅಂತೆ.
Okay.
ಪ್ರಿನ್ಸಿಪಲ್ ಸರಿ ರಾಶಾ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಲೀವ್ ಅಲ್ಲ.
ಸರಿ ಸರ್. ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಶೋಭಾ ಮೇಡಮ್ ಇರ್ತಾರೆ. ನಾನು ಇದು ಮಾಡ್ಬಿಟ್ಟು ಅದನ್ನ ತಗೋತೀನಿ. 11:30 to
12:30 ನೀವು ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. ನಾನು 4 to 5 ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ.
Okay.
ನಿಮ್ದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ವೀಕ್ 4 to 5 ಇತ್ತಲ್ಲ?
ಹೌದು.
ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ ಅದೇ ಥರ.
ಓಕೆ. ಎಸ್ ಸರ್. Yes. Now, how do we represent a stack? Now, to represent a stack, again you require array. Okay, array you have understood already. So, or other words, I can say array can be used as a home to the stack. So, stack, it's a concept, correct, right? It's a concept. So, what that concept says, add and delete the elements from one end. Okay, it is a concept. But to implement that, we require, okay, the storage. And what storage we can use? So we can go for using arrays. Okay, OP people understood? Or otherwise I can say array is the home to the stack. OP people understood?
Yes, sir.
Stack is a concept, correct, right? And how to represent this concept? It can be represented by using what? Arrays. So I hope you are seeing this now. So this is an array now, correct? This is an array. Now what we are doing? We are adding the element here, adding so this element to the array. So and this adding this element to the array, I am calling here is as push operation, and adding one more element called B, one more element C, and one more element D, and top is right now pointing to this. So if I want to add one more element E, so top will be incremented and it is pointing to this, and I want to delete, so I keep decrementing the top by 1. OP people understood? Is the concept clear?
Yes, sir.
Stacks are implemented using arrays. So this is one way of implementing this stack. Now I want to implement a stack. How do I implement? So by using array. There is other way also to implement this stack. We'll discuss that later. Okay. Now this is what I'm doing. So okay, I told you can implement the stack using arrays. Now how to do that here? So type def struct. Okay, I'm creating a structure in top. Okay, type def, I think I've already told you. So it's something like giving an alias name to the structure. Okay, so see, if you want, you can use this. It is not compulsory. Typedef struct is the keyword. In top is one member which I have taken, and character item of max stack. Okay, this is the array which I am creating, and top is also required because I make top to point to always the top element of the stack. So these are the two members of the structure stack. I am calling the name of the structure as stack. Okay, so you can do it like this, or otherwise let me take a pen and write it because I don't want you to get confused. So struct. So I'm not good at writing using the mouse. Struct stack. Struct stack. Open. So, and what should be the type of top? Always integer. Irrespective whether it is a character array or an integer array or a floating point array, what should be the type of the top? What should be the type of the top? Integer, because it points to the indexes of the array. Correct, right? And then I have a character array, character item, name of the array I am taking it as item, and then so max stk, max stk. I close. So I'll take an s. S is the variable now. Okay. Now, and you know how to access these members now using s. Now, if I want to access top, s dot top. So if I want to access this item, s dot item, item of say 0. If I want to access the first item, okay. Sorry, item of top. Sorry. Top I'll give. OP people understood? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
And this is how I'm doing. Say initially, so s dot top, I'm initializing it to what? -1. Okay. Initially, so I can access this top variable by using the stack. Structure variable s dot top is equal to -1. Top is initialized to -1. Say top is pointing here somewhere. So top is equal to -1, and this is 0th index, and this is 1 index, and 2, and this is 3. Okay. So stack after. So when I call push a, what will happen? So the top gets incremented, and it is pointing here. Okay. And a is inserted. And when I call push b, what happens? Top gets incremented by one more, and it is not 0 now, it is 1. Top is pointing here, and b is inserted. And when I call push c, what happens? So this top again gets incremented by one more, and top is pointing to this, and c is inserted here. And when I call push d, so top gets incremented by one more, and it is 3, and it is pointing to this. Now if I call push e, so top gets incremented, and e gets inserted here. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So now, the pseudo algorithm for performing the push operation. Now push operation you understood. Now, so we are going to look into the implementation details of the push operation. Now before going to the actual C code of the push operation, so I will just understand with this pseudo code. Okay. Push, I have stack, top, stack I'm passing, top I'm passing, maximum size of the stack I'm passing, and the item also. Item is nothing but what? Item is nothing but this array, character array. Character array I'm passing, size of the stack I'm passing, top I'm passing, and the stack also. Okay. So this procedure pushes an item onto a stack. See now. So I'm just checking the stack already filled or the stack already full. Okay. If top is equal to, see, how do I check whether the stack is full or not? If top is equal to this max stack size, what does it mean? Then the stack is overflow. Hope you people understood? Now before inserting an item onto this stack, this is the condition you have to check before inserting. You got to check whether the stack is full. How do you check? If top is equal to the maximum size of the stack, then you say it is overflow. There is no space to insert. OP people understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So initially, if the stack is empty, what will be the value of the top? When stack is empty, what will be the value of the top?
Minus.
Minus 1. Minus 1 equal to, say, the maximum size of the stack is 5. Minus 1 equal to 5. So the condition is false. We don't have overflow. Correct? No? That means the stack is empty and the element can be inserted. Then we go to the next step. Okay? We just say overflow, and after this also we return. Correct? No? Because we don't want to continue with step 2 and 3. We have to stop here only. That is the reason we are returning. Next, if stack is not empty, full, then what we do? We increment the top. How? Top is equal to top plus 1. That is, increases top by 1. OP people are following? And then what we are doing? Stack of top is equal to item. So this new item which I want to insert, I am writing it to this position. Okay, people are following? Insert the item in the new top position and return. So this is the pseudo algorithm for the push operation. So the entire push operation can be implemented something like this. And later these are the steps. So if you have understood these things, then you can easily go for writing the program for this in any of the programming language, not necessarily in C itself. You can write. So this is what is required. If you know the algorithm or the steps, then you can easily write the corresponding implementation in any of the programming language. But what we will be doing here is we'll be using C as the programming language for writing the implementation of push operation. Understood? No?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yeah. Okay. Next, similarly pop. Okay. So pop, we are passing stack, we are passing top, we are passing the item. Okay. So this procedure deletes the top element of the stack and assigns it to the variable called item. Because now when I'm popping, I'll also be displaying this is the element that is popped. Okay. So before I decrement the top, what I'll do is, so I'll assign the top element to item. Following, say if this is my stack, have a look here. Say A, B, C. Let us assume top is pointing here. Top is pointing here. Now I want to pop this now. Okay. I want to pop this C. What I'll do now? Now before decrementing, see, after decrementing I cannot take this. I don't have access to this C. Before decrementing top, I have to say item is equal to stack of top. Stack of top. This is my stack. Now what gets assigned to item?
C.
Yeah, what gets assigned to item?
Top.
No. Stack
C.
of top. Stack of top. Say this is 0, 1, 2. What is the value of top? 2 now. Stack of 2. What is the value at stack of 2?
C.
C. So what gets assigned to item is C.
C.
So C gets assigned. Item becomes C. Item is equal to C now. Understood? And then I go for decrementing the top minus minus. Top minus minus, or top is equal to top minus 1. So what will happen? This top is no longer pointing to this. Now top is pointing to this. Correct? Now the item that I have popped is right now present in what? This item variable. Now I use this item variable and I just print a message. So the element popped is equal to %C comma item. Hope people understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now and I got to do this. Item is equal to stack up top. Before I subtract, I do 1 minus from top. Before I decrement the top, I got to do this. Item is equal to stack of top. Hope you understood. What will happen if I decrement and then I try to do item is equal to stack of top?
It'll show B, sir.
It will show B, but you're not popping B. What you're popping is C. Understood? First you got to assign it and then go for decrementing the top. So same thing what we do. And what was the condition you're checking before pushing a new item onto the stack?
Underflow.
Not underflow. No, what was the condition you're checking before pushing a new item onto the stack? Overflow condition. Okay. Now similarly, when you're popping, okay, when you're popping, you got to check whether the stack is underflow. So before popping any item from the stack, you got to check whether the stack is underflow or not. Now how to check whether the stack is underflow or not? So sorry, this if top is equal to not 0, sorry, so there's a mistake. Top is equal to -1. Hope you are following.
Yes, sir.
If top is equal to -1, then print underflow. Okay, there is a mistake here. It's not 0. Underflow and return. If top is not -1, see what we are doing. So as I said here, item is equal to stack of top. Assign the top element to item. After assigning the top element to item, you go for decreasing the value of the top by 1. Okay, decrease the value of the top by 1 such that it points to the next top element in the stack. And since the item is already assigned, correct, no, to item, the element which is popped is already assigned to item, so you can use a printf statement here now. So printf and so element popped is equal to percentage C comma item. What it say? Element popped is equal to C, it will print. Hope you understood?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next. Okay. So now this is the summary. Now this is what is very much important. Now stack representation using arrays in C. Now this is, you have to remember. Okay. So I am defining a macro. What is the statement called as? So macro. What is the name of the macro? Max stack size. I am defining the size as 10. Okay. That means wherever I write max stk, it will take the value what? 10. Okay. So it will take the value 10. And inside this structure I have two elements. One is item and then the top and then the stack. And now stack as I am doing. Okay. Now this S is the variable to this structure now, and using this variable access the top member of this structure and initialize it to -1. Okay. And then you understood how to write the push operation like this and how to write the pop operation like this. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So next, stacks using dynamic arrays is also there. Okay. See what we are doing here. So this is static. So we used array here, okay, to store the elements of the stack. But using dynamic arrays, what I do is I go for allocating the memory dynamically using the malloc function. You can just observe this structure now. I have int key. Correct, no? Key is nothing but the element which I want to insert, and I don't have the array declared here. Okay, and the memory required for storing this key, I'll be allocating it dynamically using the malloc function. This I've already explained you. The malloc and calloc function. I hope you people remember this. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and now
Yes, sir.
I don't want to confuse you people by taking this also. So for time being, I'll stop this until and unless I finish. Karna, first I want to finish the implementation of stacks using the arrays, just the arrays. Okay, so we'll finish that, and later we will take up this. Okay. So I don't want to confuse you people by taking this also at this point of time. So let us first complete the complete implementation of stacks using the arrays. Okay, and then we will see how to do it using the dynamic arrays. Okay, and this is the implementation related to that. Let me skip this for time being and come back to this later. Okay, now, so you understood what is a stack and what kind of a data structure it is and what are the restrictions on it, correct, right? And what are the operations that you can perform on the stack? What are the operations you can perform on the stack? So push operation, pop operation, of course the display also. Now when I say display, from where to where it will be displaying? From 0 to top, correct, 0 to top. So the, and how to implement the push operation, pop operation, and how to check for the stack overflow condition and how to check for the stack underflow condition, everything you have understood. Okay, now how to check for the stack overflow condition? Stack overflow or stack full, how do you check?
If top is equal to maximum,
Yeah, top is equal to,
maximum value of stack.
yeah, max size of the stack. How do you check for the underflow?
If top is equal to -1.
Yeah, top is equal to -1, so then it is underflow. Good. Now, what are the applications? So now you understood. Okay, we are using, what is the house for stack? Now, how we represented?
Array.
Yeah, we represented the stacks using arrays. Okay. Now, what are the applications of this stack? Where we use? So we use it for expression conversion and of course evaluation also. I'll tell you this. And evaluation, expression conversion and evaluation, reversing the data, so you can use it. Okay. Now, very easy to reverse now. Say I want to this A, B, C, D. I have written something like this. Okay. Now I want to reverse this. What is that you got to do? Just add them to the stack. Like this. A, it gets added something like B, C, D. Correct, right? Now I want to reverse it. What is that you? Okay. So one student is WhatsApp it. She is saying, sir, stack overflow condition, is it not max -1? Okay, top is equal to max size of the stack -1. Yes, of course, it is max size -1 because we started from 0. Okay, we started from 0, no doubt, but the conceptually we are understanding, that's all. When we go to the implementation, when we are doing the implementation, when we are writing the C program, we will be writing it as top is equal to max minus max size of the stack -1 itself. Okay, good. So now this is how I have stored. Okay. Now I want to reverse this. What is that I'll do? Top is pointing to this. I'll just go for performing the pop operation. Now when I perform the first pop operation, D, and next C, and next B, and next A. So I have my string reversed. So, and then parsing the data. Okay. So parsing data, I'll take the example and show you. Okay. So you can do the parsing of the data, and you can also do the backtracking steps. Can I know? See. What is backtracking steps is nothing but, see, first I insert A, B, C, D. Can I know? This is the, say this is the places which I am visiting. So A is one place, B is another place. So from A I travel to B, and from B I travel to C, and from C I travel to D. And I need to get back to my original place in the same way I have traveled. Can I know? That means from D I should get back to C, and then to B, and then finally to A. So that is what is backtracking steps. So just taking the steps, the same previous steps to reach back the original state. So this is also one more application of stacks, and it is most widely used in this expression conversion. So there is something called as infix to prefix conversion, infix to postfix conversion, and evaluation of what infix and postfix expression. So all these things can be easily done by using the stacks. So hope you people understood with the applications of the stack, and this you'll be doing. So you'll get problems also on this expression conversion. I'll tell you how to do it. So is that clear till here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is what the first one. Okay, the first application which I mentioned here, expression conversion. Okay, that is what we are expression conversion and evaluation. So that is what we are discussing here. Okay, so stack can be used in application that requires that the use of data be postponed for a while. Okay, now in this example, the use of data can be postponed. So that is converting a given infix expression to postfix form, and similarly converting a given infix to postfix transformation or prefix also. Sorry, prefix prefix form. You can convert either to the postfix form or to the prefix form, and you can also go for evaluating the infix or the postfix expression. Okay, so this is one major application of these stacks, and you have a lab program on the stack implementation also, implementing the stacks using arrays. Okay, where you'll be writing will be representing the stacks using the arrays, the same structure which I showed you now. The same thing will be doing, and will be go for implementing the push operation, pop operation, check for underflow condition, overflow condition, and also go for displaying the content of the stack at any point of time. So this is what you'll be doing. And apart from that, so you also have a lab program on converting a given infix expression into postfix expression using stacks. Okay, so your program should read an infix expression and it should convert it into the equivalent postfix. So we don't have the lab program for converting it into prefix, so we'll be doing it only for the postfix transformation, converting a given infix expression to postfix form using the stacks. And we also go for discussing this, evaluating a given postfix expression using the stacks. So that is the reason I told there are 3 lab programs on this stacks. Okay. Okay. I think we'll stop at this. Before next is evaluation of expression, and the one example I have an evaluation of the expression, and then converting from the infix to the postfix form and prefix form. So I just don't want to confuse you here only. So let me stop here, and from tomorrow we'll start discussing from here. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. So understood, no, till here?
Yes, sir. No doubts.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I want to discard the annotations. Okay. Let me download the. So, and what I'm doing is all my sessions are getting recorded. So I have it in my hard disk. Okay. I'll just plan to share these things, recorded videos also to you people for later listening. Any point of time, so if you have not understood some topic, you can again listen to it. So all the sessions what I have done till now, everything is recorded. So I'll soon make them available. So either in the YouTube or in my Google Drive, and I'll share the same to you people through my Google site. So I'll let you know this, because I've not yet uploaded to my Google site or to the YouTube. So let me decide whether to upload it to the YouTube or to the my Google site. So once it is done, I'll let you know. So you can download and you can go for watching. Only thing is downloading these videos, it will cost the data for you. If you have the data in very good internet speed, any point of time you can download and you can listen through it again. Okay.
Sir, YouTube can be better, sir.
Yeah, I'll do that. See, it's not possible for me to. Yeah. Yeah, it's not possible to upload it to the Google site because of the space problem, but YouTube I can upload. I have my own channel in the YouTube. Okay, I'll upload there. So once I upload all the videos, I'll let you know.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Yeah.
So what about the internals?
Yeah, I have downloaded the attendance list. Okay, people can leave. So I will meet again tomorrow. Thank you.